What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Crafted in Florida. Today I'm going to show you how I took a plain blank wall and turned it into this custom home office. Watch the video. I'll show you how I did it. Alright, today we are working on custom cabinets for this office build that I'm doing. What we're going to do is do a little bit more of an advanced version of it. If you've seen my custom cabinet video in the past, I did kind of the basic, easy, quick DIY style where you're using pocket holes to keep all the pieces together. Glue works just fine, and they're going to hold up perfectly good. But what we're going to do today is do a dado stack on the table saw, and we're going to cut a dado into the side pieces of all of our cabinets that'll accept the bottom panel, so the bottom of our cabinet. When setting up the dado stack, what I like to do is set my fence to where the end of the furthest blade is 3.5 inches, because that's where I want my bottom panel of my cabinet to sit. I've got it at 3/8 of an inch high, so it's going to cut about halfway through this 3/4 plywood. And I'm going to run all my side pieces through this so that we've got the same height, and all those panels should sit nice and level. Once I'm done with that, I'll take a couple of these pieces off the dado stack, bring it down to 1/4 of an inch. We'll run that on the back side of all these pieces, and that'll give us a slot for the back panel to sit in. That way we can put the nailers behind it and they look nice and clean on the inside. Let's jump right into this. Here's your left and right side of the cabinet. You can see the dado here. Except the bottom panel, and those dados will accept the top panel. Alright, we're going to do some assembly on some face frames. Simple enough. Bottom plate, top plate, 2 uprights. I like to do it with pocket holes just because it's quick and easy and not sitting there and dealing with clamps all day. Get some glue. To help in any movement in the future, keep it from splitting there. Good clamp to hold everything down to a flat surface. Put the pocket holes in. It's just repeat and repeat. Clamp, very important, so that you keep alignment when you drive that screw in at an angle. The board that you're driving through tends to want to move down or towards the direction of the screw. You want to make sure that you got everything flat so there's nowhere to go. The other obvious thing is to make sure that you keep everything lined up correctly and make sure that your pocket hole is same side of both boards, so that you're not doing something like this. You're gonna have the pocket hole showing. Right, simple enough. Pretty easy process. I prefer the face frame cabinets compared to the frameless personally, but also not a fan of headbanding. It's got its place, but not my favorite. Another thing, a little tip for you, when you're lining it up on the bottom, use your thumb, don't just go by eyes, because you'll be able to feel if there's a difference there. Obviously you want it smooth. There it is. Simple face frame. The glue will set up, and the pocket holes will keep it in place. We get it attached to our cabinets. Be good to go. Alright, so we got some issues. Our white oak countertop that we had glued up got a little twisty. You can see all that in there. It's about 2.5 feet worth of cracks. Try gluing it and clamping it back up, but there's too much torque in that wood right now, so we're going to cut that portion off and then cut it off right about there, and then we're going to add that much more back to the piece. What are you going to do? To help with alignment, we are going to use a biscuit joiner. We're going to cut some biscuits in here. I've marked spots on both boards so that I know exactly where each biscuit's going to go. We'll cut those biscuit holes, add the biscuits some glue, clamp it back up, see if we can't fix that issue. Once we get that glued up, we should be good. Everything will be back in alignment, and hopefully no more pulling apart, no more twisting with the new board there. Let's jump into it. Alright, hopefully you can see here, it's where the biscuit is cut. We'll add biscuits to all of these pieces. They'll all be lined up just like that. Keep everything in a line so the glue holds and will be good to go. Alright, now I've got 10.5 foot piece of this countertop that I have to connect to a 3 foot piece. That's going to give us the full 13.5 feet that this office space is going to take. So now we're going to take this, I'm going to put some biscuits in it to align it. Really try to get that seam as tight as possible. And we'll sand it all out. Should be ready to finish real soon. What I'm going to do is put this little piece, be a little sacrificial. I'm just going to cut the same line just all the way through this stuff. So this should be a perfect match. We'll find out. That's going to be a nice seam there. I gotta figure out how we're gonna clamp it on yet. Sponsor for today's video, Sigmund with the laser levels. Real big fan of this product. They sent me one a few weeks ago asking if I'd put this in the video, and I not only use it in the video, but I use it all the time. I love it. It's got a rechargeable battery, which is nice. It's got a self-leveling, so it's going to flash until you're level, and then once it's on, you are level and plumb, and you can just go right off of that line. I've used it a few times. I use it in this project where I built this office because we really wanted to make sure that the cabinet on the far right lined up perfectly with our open shelving over there. So I use this. I set it up, put it on a little stand. The great thing about this product is that the charge lasts for 11 hours. So if you're fully charged, you could turn that thing on and work an entire workday and then some and not have to worry about recharging. So that is a huge help for me. It's indoor-outdoor use. It's 100-foot visibility with the green lasers. The green lasers are much easier to see than the red ones. Couldn't tell you why. Ask a scientist why, but I can tell you it's easier to see them. So that's a really great part. So it also has a magnetic mount. So let's say you don't have a stand with you. You can use the threaded insert there, put it on, boom. Put it just about anywhere, as long as you've got something metal. Most people, if they're using this, probably have a ladder. Put that thing on the side of the ladder. Boom, you're done. And it's magnetic, so it's not going to fall off on you. It'll stay there nice and tight. Big fan of it. Sigmund laser levels. This is the CMGO2. Get yourself one. Alright, I'm going to show you my little setup here as far as making doors. I do have a full video on how I make my standard shaker style cabinet doors. I'll put a link to that in the description below. But here's kind of an overview of how I have everything set up. So you see I've built myself a little sled here to make sliding everything through a little bit easier. Just a little MDF and some scrap pieces of wood all glued together. I've got a mortising bit there. Have that set up. The good thing is my little back scrap piece has a mark in it, obviously from my runoff. So that makes it a little easier to setting everything up because I know exactly I've got that set where I want it, so I can just line that all up. My piece will sit in there nice and smooth. It is a little bit big for this piece. But that'll help push it, keeps it down. Got a little piece right there to help everything stay low. And we just run it through on both sides. Alright, so what you see here is this is the MDF panel that's going to be floating inside the frame of the cabinet door. client wants a shiplap look. Clearly it's not going to be thick enough to put shiplap inside it. So we notched out evenly throughout on this MDF panel. When you paint it, you get that gap shiplap type of look. Look just right. Alright, so I got these doors sanded up. I'm going to go ahead and drill my hinge holes so that once I'm done painting, I don't have to do that. Less likely that I'll get scratched and all that. Now, I am doing a top and bottom, which typically when you do a regular shaker style door, it doesn't really matter. It's all even. But because I've got a slightly larger piece of shiplap down here on the bottom, I want to make sure that that is even for all of my doors. So this will be my bottom, this will be my top. So I need to make sure I map out where each door is going to go. And then make sure that the hinges are then applied on the correct side, because I've got a pair of doors that are going to open up together. And then on each side cabinet, there's also going to be one single door that needs to open up away from the desk space. So we're going to get that set up and ready to go. I've got a Craig hinge drilling jig. I'm going to say that fast. Hinge jig. It comes with a whole bunch of markings on here if you want to get specific. This one is clearly very well worn. I like to just line this piece up at the bottom of my door or the top of the door and then hold it in place and drill that through. So the big benefit to this jig, and I'm sure there's other jigs out there, I just tend to use Craig, is it gives you that perfect spacing away from the edge of the door, and obviously the stop to keep you from drilling through the door. You don't want to do that. Definitely worth it. Very affordable if you're doing this. It's going to save you a ton of time just trying to measure and prep everything like that. It's worth getting this, and that way you can just kind of fly through it. It also has the ability to pop off there, and there are some pilot holes if you are screwing in your hinges versus the plugs that will come with it, whichever way you're going to go with that. But we'll keep hammering these out and get all the doors prepped and ready for paint.